Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the Casual Tryhard Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And this is going to be a biggin.
This is going to be an odd episode.
I mean, they're always odd. We're involved, but...
Yeah, for a couple of different reasons, this is going to be odd, though. First off, I'm going on vacation next week, so we were planning on recording 2 episodes this week. One for this week, one for next week. But this episode is probably going to be long. So we haven't decided what we're going to do yet. I think Brian's going to do that while he's editing on the fly. We may do one super episode released like Monday, Tuesday-ish to cover 2 weeks. Or Brian might split this up and do a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah, we'll see kind of where the break falls and, you know, how editing goes. Because
we'll see what happens.
I have found in my life, I don't like to be told that I'm doing stuff wrong, but now I have like a 9-pound tiny person who just screams at me when he thinks I'm doing anything wrong, but does not offer any kind of constructive criticism, and I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it. I'm like, what do you need? And he says, ah! So, like, today I was trying to work, and I was just like, well, I can't get anything done because you are voicing your displeasure at me. Okay, I've got to try to fix this. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it'll be a big episode. I started scrolling through the show notes, and they're like the longest set of show notes we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
so
it's like 6 pages.
You're gonna get your money's worth, however that goes.
I also want to apologize in advance a little bit. Parts of this show are going to be kind of negative, I think. Just because there comes a point when everybody has to rant a little bit. So even though we both love the game and, you know, don't plan on going anywhere, parts of this episode may get a little heated. So apologize in advance for that.
Oh, man. Heated. Man, we got to give the people what they want.
Right.
All right. So if you want to get at us on Twitter, you can find us at Casual Tripod.
You can hit us up on Facebook at Casual Tryhard MTG. You can also drop us an email, show@casualtryhardmtg.com. Don't forget we have a TCG player affiliate link. It's tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Anything you purchase after following that link will help keep the lights on, so they say. We get a real small cut that helps to pay some of our hosting fees and stuff. So make sure if you're going to pick up any sealed product, any singles, anything like that, you do so after following that affiliate link to help us out. If you would like to support us a little bit more directly, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. Every dollar helps. So if you feel like supporting us a little bit there, we would welcome you to do that. Our patrons get a super cool pre-show that goes up normally the day after we record. So usually it's up on Tuesdays. Sometimes it doesn't get up until Wednesday. That's just kind of us catching up because we don't get to see each other too much anymore. So we catch up in the pre-show and talk about the show a little bit. They also get access to our show notes. I post those the day before the show goes live on Patreon. So you get to completely see what we're going to be talking about the following day. And these notes are long.
Yes.
So you have that to look forward to. Also, patrons have access to our finance room and our Discord. So that's kind of another patron perk. And, oh, yeah, we have a Discord.
We do.
Hop on over there to check out all the goings-on. We have a Adopt a Deck section, which we kind of hope to get back to soon, where you can post up deck ideas, and we'll take them for a spin and then critique, give our comments, concerns, whatever on them, maybe make some changes. We have a freebie section where if there's any arena codes or anything that we have to give out, we give them out there. We have a general section where we just kind of talk about whatever's going on in Magic. There's a bunch of good guys in there, so hop on over, check that out. There should be a link in the description. There's also a link to our Discord server as a pinned comment on Twitter and on Facebook.
Yep. So you can catch us all there.
All of those places.
So there was strangely a lot of Magic and not a lot of Magic happening this weekend.
All at the same time.
I think you paid more attention to this than me. I tried, which is Morrow did a panel at Comic-Con.
From his couch.
From his couch, yeah. Whatever fake virtual Comic-Con that we have to do now in the hell times. About Zendikar Rising, and of course, this was during the PT finals. And I was
during the finals. It was its own thing happening at the same time as the finals. And from what I understand, they did not cut from the finals to watch
his announcement
talk. Yeah, they were concurrent.
Yeah, like they should have just stopped and been like, "Hey, check this out." But instead, they made like no mention of it.
Right.
With that said, what was Morrow's big announcement?
There was one really big announcement and a little bit that was just kind of him talking about the Zendikar Rising. Is that the name of the set?
Yes.
Return to Zendikar, whatever.
He said what the Planeswalkers were going to be.
He did.
It was Nahiri, Nissa, and Jace. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. He also said that we are not getting Eldrazi. Eldrazi are not present any longer.
Fair.
So it will be more akin to original Zendikar, which is Adventure World, and less akin to Rise of the Eldrazi or Battle for Zendikar.
Get ready for traps to come back, boys and girls.
They're back on the menu.
Lava Ball Trap Part 2.
I forget what else was actually in the announcement.
But I think the big thing, the thing that we wanted to talk about were a new type of booster.
Another new type of booster.
These are set boosters because you couldn't get cards from the set from the other booster. They were different.
Other booster? You're implying that there's only one other booster.
This is true. The other boosters did not give you set cards. They gave you other kinds of cards. Right. But these are set boosters.
We'll get into breaking down. Like I have a whole section in here that's breaking down like all of the different ways you can purchase Magic cards now.
Yeah.
Before we did that, we'd talk about like what the set booster actually is.
Yes. So you have here described that the set booster is somewhere between a draft booster, the backbone of their business for 25 years that has been deemed not good enough, and a collector booster. I saw a tweet where someone took the Wizards announcement and like changed the descriptions, and it was like the regular booster, and then collector booster was for the whales, and then I forget what the the theme booster was, but then for the set booster was so you want to be a whale. And it's, I think
they call that hood rich, right?
Yeah. Quarantine rich now. Sure. I'll trade you one bottle of hand sanitizer for that sweet, sweet set booster. Come on, right. You want to. So this is a product that is priced at a little bit more than a draft booster, but significantly less than a collector's booster.
Yeah, I think they said that it should be about $1 more than a draft booster.
Okay.
So they'll be about $5, I think. Maybe like $5. I think like technically MSRP was supposed to be like $4.25 or $4.30 or something. But, you could find them for $4 everywhere. But before they did away with MSRP, I believe MSRP was supposed to be like $4.30 or something.
Oh, on a draft booster.
On a draft booster, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then so these will be about $5. Okay. Yeah, so significantly less than a collector booster. But still a little bit more.
Less. Yep.
So I'm paying more money. Right. Am I getting more cardboard?
No, you're like in terms of volume of cardboard received, you're getting less cardboard.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm getting less cardboard for an extra $1.
Right, but You're getting an experience
of opening some cellophane. I get that experience every time I eat a Milky Way, but that doesn't mean I want to pay $5 for that experience. And that Milky Way is going to be with me forever on my waistline.
This is true. I have worked very hard this year to get rid of some Milky Ways from my waistline.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in like a while. You could be like 110 pounds.
Oh, I'm not quite that far, but I dropped like 45 pounds this year.
Damn.
Yeah.
I found 10 in
Certainly not
quarantine.
skinny, but you're quarantine.
Yeah, my quarantine for sure. It's not good. So anyway, so there are 12 cards per booster.
Is it 12?
I thought it was 12.
I think it's 14.
Okay, we can go through in a second. But
Yeah.
they are selling these as they keep talking about with new boosters an exciting new way to open a pack.
Well, see, when they were doing this announcement, it kind of got me thinking a little bit. And from there, like, I see what their perspective is. Well, I mean, obviously, their perspective is money, and I get that. But aside from that, like, think about when you are standing in front of, like, the counter at your local game store and you open your booster pack, or you're watching, customers come up and open booster packs. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. Like, some people, slough off all the draft chaff and go right to the last slot, the rare. Some people will take the last 3 cards and set them down because that would contain your foil and your rare, and then they'll look at the rest of the pack and then go back. Like, we do this thing at the local game store called pack poker, where you'll get a bunch of people together and everybody, one at a time, will open a pack and add up the total CMC of every card in that pack. And then whoever has either the highest or the lowest or whatever will kind of win all of those packs. But all of these different ways that people open booster packs are kind of to do what this product is aiming to do. And that's to provide more excitement when you open it, right?
Yeah, I guess I open packs differently. When I buy booster boxes, my wife and I will sit down and we race to see who can open the box faster.
Oh, okay.
And then
that is certainly a different way.
And then she counts how many orange symbols she opened, how many mythics she opened, because that's how she knows if her box is good.
Oh, okay.
She's like, "Oh, I got 5 orange ones." Boom.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, she'll run by me. She'll be like, "Is this card good?" I'll be like, "Oh, that card's good." Like the Kiss of Death is, I'm like, "That's good in draft." It's just like, oh.
And until you know it's a bad card. It's good in draft.
It's unbeatable in draft, but
it was a limited plant.
Yeah, I guess I just see packs as a way to convey game pieces to me.
Right.
And so I guess I've never looked at them I need an exciting new way to open a pack. You know what I mean? I mean, it was...
I don't know that it's a newer, exciting way to open a pack, but I kind of see what they're going for. It is kind of exciting, and if you do spend time at your LGS, hanging out at the counter or whatever, you can definitely watch people crack packs, and everybody does it in their own little different way to provide the most value out of tearing open a piece of cellophane as they can possibly squeeze out of it.
Yeah, again, not making Magic players happy ever. What was that arena event where you could buy back in? It was $20, and if you got 2 losses, you could buy back in.
Arena Open or whatever.
Yeah, which we have one this weekend apparently.
Oh, do we really?
In Historic.
Oh man, I had no idea.
Get hype. Yeah. Advertising, folks. This is a real company, but people were like, "Oh, this is exploitative because some people who play Magic have gambling issues." Right. I feel like a lot of the products that Wizards have made recently are super hard leaning into that.
Yeah.
Hey, here's this $100 pack. Maybe you open $400 worth of stuff. Oh, you open $70 worth of stuff? Get another one.
Next time.
Yeah, get another one. And this is hey, you opened a set booster. It was pretty much like a regular booster, but you might get one that has 3 rares in it.
Right.
You should get another one. Do it. And it's gotta get another one. Just one more.
Yeah, but at the same time though, they're also releasing products that have nothing to do with gambling. The last unset we got was not in booster packs.
It wasn't?
No, unsanctioned. They were pre-con decks.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there was only 20 new cards in it, but still, it was, a pre-con thing. There was no randomness to it. They've been doing the spell books, which, I mean, you do get a random foil, but it's those 15 or 20 cards or whatever. Like there's no randomness outside of which foil you're going to get.
Speaking about spell books, I went to the local game store to pick up an order because, I'm still a degenerate and will occasionally buy cards, and I feel bad if I don't go pick them up because I feel like he could sell them and I'm keeping him from making money. Yeah. So I went down, and there are so many Chandra's spell books in the case.
He went hard on Chandra's spell books.
Okay, I was like, are they just not selling?
No, he sold like 3/4 of what he had.
Okay, wow, because there were so many.
Yeah, no, he went hard on them.
Okay, so what is in a set booster?
So set boosters are laid out, I guess, kind of similar to a normal booster, but more akin to like a mystery booster, where each position in the pack is its own slot. And it's not exactly like mystery boosters where there's like a separate sheet for each slot, but each slot it's going to be the same thing in each booster. So the first slot in every pack is going to be an art card, like we got in Modern Horizons, where it's, a nice, super glossy, full card size piece of art from an art in the set. And I don't know how many are going to be in every set, but I think they said for Zendikar there's going to be around 80. And just for like reference, I think there was 54 in Modern Horizons.
Yeah, something like that.
And then 1 in 25 of these will have a gold embossed artist signature on the art card. So like 1 per box. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like if I open a piece of Super 6 Seb art, I would like to have a shiny gold Seb signature on it.
Yeah, so the thing here is that the like Modern Horizons art cards are like worth nothing.
Right.
So like if you don't open a super sick piece of Seb art with a gold signature on it, I'm sure that if you had 2/4, you could procure one.
True. Except that my counterpoint is that I remember when Modern Horizons first came out and we were cracking a bunch of it and like looking for excuses to crack more packs like a pre-release, somebody I know was trying to collect them all despite them having little to no value.
Yeah, and he's too short and stopped.
Even though they're no value, I mean, it's still like something kind of cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like if you get a favorite card, like sometimes it might be cool. Like if you really like, I don't know, like Goblin Chain Whirler, and there was a Goblin Chain Whirler art card, maybe you pick a couple up and like keep it in your deck box for a token or something. I don't know.
Okay, so that's slot 1. Slot 2.
Slot 2 is a land. In Zendikar, these will be full art basics because there are full art basics in this set, but they also did say that the lands in this slot can change set to set. So just because they're only basic lands that are full art in Zendikar does not mean that whatever is in this slot in some future set is going to be a full art or even just a basic land.
Core 2022. I'm telling you right now, Gain Lands, boom, Blossoming Sands, woo.
Could be, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. And 15% of the time, the land will be a foil.
Right. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if it's, a full art land or like they did with Core 21, the showcase lands.
Yeah.
Like those are kind of cool to get foil. Or if it was in Theros and we got those Nyx lands in foil, those are really pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the slot's a dud. Just like I don't necessarily, even though there's no value in it, I don't necessarily think that the artist card slot's a dud either. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be worth money to be cool.
Fair.
Even though, like, typically those things are linked, I don't think they have to be linked. So slots 3 through 8, so that's 6 slots, are going to be commons and commons/uncommons. They said that these are all going to share something, so they will be like on theme. Either they're going to be all story cards that tell you a story across them, or they will all have similar mechanics, or they'll all have the same card type. They'll all be creatures, they'll all be enchantments, whatever. There's going to be something that will tie all of these 6 cards together for
Okay.
whatever reason. And that's probably something that somebody else cares a lot about that I don't care about. So
Yes.
if that's your thing, this is a cool thing for you. They also said that these can be upshifted, so the commons can be upshifted to uncommon randomly. I didn't think I worked out what the percentages were. They were in the article. At least one of these is guaranteed to be uncommon, but they can all be uncommon.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that only really matters if there's like a chase uncommon, like Fatal Push or something, but not every set has those.
Next up,
So then
we have the Head Turner.
What was that?
The Head Turner.
Yeah, you didn't see my head whip around there.
I didn't. No.
Could you hear it?
A little. The
Okay.
whoosh as the beard went by.
The whoosh. So what's slot 9? The Head Turner.
The Head Turner. Someone with a whiteboard somewhere is so proud of themselves for coming up with Head Turner.
So it's funny that you say that because I've watched a couple videos trying to get like some different perspectives on these set boosters, and just about everybody has said that these exact terms for like these cards are straight off of like a salesman's handbook or whatever, or somebody that does storyboards, or like they're straight out of marketing.
Yeah.
Like the Head Turner, the fireworks, whatever.
Yeah. It's just like someone in marketing was like, what if we did this?
Yeah.
What if we gave them less cardboard, but charged them $1 more? You know what I would do?
Yep.
That'd be fireworks for me, man.
Fireworks.
Yeah. All right. So, Head Turner.
Yep.
This is a common or an uncommon showcase card, or something that is yet to be announced.
Yeah. So the other thing that can be in this slot for Zendikar has not been announced yet. There is something else that can be here. It has not been announced yet. And there is also, I don't know if you read today's article on the mothership.
I did not. No.
It had like 3 sections in it that were redacted.
Okay.
And that it said to check back to this article at a later date and the information will be there, which I thought was weird. I don't know what's happening there.
Someone at marketing has done too much coke in quarantine. Yeah. I got an idea, man. Make it like the X-Files. Is this an alien plane? No, man, adventures. It's like, we'll be like, the truth is out there, man. Come back. Like, dude, calm down. Like, you can see you on this Zoom call. Yeah, man. It's like, oh, God. Anyway, so coked out marketing guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm thinking this is like in Ikoria, we had the showcase cards, which were like the comic book art. And then we also had alternate named versions of cards, like the Godzilla stuff. So I'm assuming that this slot is going to be like your showcase card or some other themed something.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that's just my guess. They actually didn't say that. But then we have slots 10 and 11. These they're calling the wild card slots. They can be any rarity and contain showcase cards at rare and mythic. So you're not going to get common or uncommon showcase cards. They're only in slot 9. If you get a showcase card in slots 10 or 11, it's going to be a rare or mythic showcase card.
Okay.
And they also said that just under a quarter of the packs will have at least one extra rare or mythic.
Gotcha.
So for whatever that's worth, it's like 23% of packs will have at least one extra rare or mythic. And that'll probably be in this slot, I think.
Gotcha.
And then we have slot 12 is a rare mythic slot, just like you would have in a normal booster pack. It's a rare mythic.
Okay.
Slot 13 is a foil slot, just like a Masters set or Mystery Boosters. Every pack had a foil. Every one of these set boosters is going to have a foil. This is the slot where that will be. And this can also be a rare mythic. And then we have one more slot, the slot that you were alluding to in the pre-show. This is the add/token slot. Or is it?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because it also has a chance, 1 in 4, to be a card out of a 300 card pool that will shift around between sets and they will be like mystery boosters. So whatever cards are in this set, and they said they're going to make changes to it, like as sets go on. They're not going to completely redo the whole 300 list, but they will add and subtract cards in between sets. These are going to be reprints from Magic's history, and they will be in the original border with the original art and set symbol. And they will have a little tiny Planeswalker symbol in the corner, just like mystery booster cards.
I feel like this was a lot of information to take in.
Yeah, it was a lot of information to take in while the Pro Tour was happening.
Yeah, I do appreciate that you. I don't know if you put the emphasis on this or if they did. Our second thing here at the end of this is will not have fetches.
Well, they specifically said that. That was part of the announcement, was that this is not the place where the fetch lands will be.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. These are also, because they're from Magic's history, if you get a card in this slot that's not an ad token or whatever, like these cards may not be standard legal.
Fair.
So.
Just so much. So they're basically charging an extra $1 for the 23% chance that you're going to get an extra rare or mythic.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. You're guaranteed a foil in every pack, which you aren't in a normal booster. And then you have a couple slots that are like you're taking a chance on. You have a chance at getting something cool in the token slot. You have a chance at getting an extra rare or mythic in the foil slot. You have a chance at getting, other rarity cards at the slot 10 and 11. And you have a chance at getting, an artist signed art card, whatever. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I don't hate the product.
No.
I just don't like we need so many products. The product itself is cool. I mean, they are 100% correct. There are things that they do to booster packs because people draft them that don't necessarily affect, somebody like you or I.
Yeah. I mean, so there's this interesting thing, because of all the different arts and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That has really depressed the value of a regular pack rare.
Oh yeah, big time.
And now you've got a product that gives you a foil in every pack, which will basically render pretty much all the foils at common and uncommon, unless there's an eternal playable uncommon, basically worthless, right? Because if you think about, you sell as many of these boosters as you do the draft, as you do the draft boosters, right? If there's let's say in a given set there's 1 million packs that are bought. If they were only draft boosters, right, there's a 1 in 4 chance or 1 in 5 chance of getting a foil, right? There'd be 250,000 foils in the world. If you sell half draft boosters and half these, you're guaranteed to have 625,000 foils in the world. You've 2.5 times the number of foils that you would have in a normal set. So foils are going to be way cheaper,
a lot less special,
than they've been, right? So I feel like they have, with all of the showcase and alternate arts and full art and all the different things that they've done, right? They've taken the value of a pack card and taken the value down on that. A lot of times one of the selling points that you'll hear people talk about for draft is you can do a draft and leave the store and you have cards that have value that you can trade or something. That's not going to be the case anymore, right? The $5 rare is now $1.
Right.
Or
less.
Yeah, because we've seen people that will do a draft, take their rares, sell them to the store and store credit to do another draft.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's actually pretty common.
Right? getting harder and harder to do that.
Yeah.
With collector boosters and showcase arts and all this stuff.
Yep. That's actually a point that I had in the show notes later on.
Oh man,
that's all right. Figured I'd let you go with it. You were on a roll.
I should read the show notes.
That's all right.
All right, so that's what's in the pack, and Brian's first. Like, there are just so many foils now.
There's so much everything.
So we kind of feel like there's a problem, as entrenched players, and I think we've touched on this before.
Yeah.
But just like the sheer number of products,
right,
that are raining down on our heads.
So 4 times a year, so for every normal Magic set that comes out, we now have draft boosters, collector boosters, set boosters, deck builders toolkit, bundle booster box, set booster box, collector booster box, theme boosters, welcome boosters, pre-con decks, pre-release kits, buy a box promos, box topper promos, bundle promos, and F&M promos. Yeah, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. So,
and then on top of that, things that aren't released, with a normal Magic set 4 times a year, we also have secret lair drops, mystery boosters, and convention edition mystery boosters, jumpstart, spellbook, masters sets, ancillary sets, and this is like Commander Legends, the Unsets, and Conspiracy. We have digital only sets for Arena, Amonkhet Remastered, Pioneer, Masters. And then we have all of the other stuff that doesn't kind of fit into any of these categories, like Game Nights, the Anthologies, Arch Enemy, Plane Chase, Explorers of Ixalan, Heroes of Dominaria, all that kind of other weird stuff.
So I'm going to be honest with you right now.
Yeah.
If you asked me to describe Explorers of Ixalan, I would not be able to. It involved pirates and merfolk and a dinosaur.
Heroes of Dominaria.
No clue. That was the other one. I'm like, no clue what that is.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know either of those products existed until I was trying to search for the sheer number of things that come out every year.
In Wizards' defense, as they often say, that product might not be for you. Yeah, I can't tell you what that product is. It must not have been for me. Yeah. The enfranchised gives you multiple hundreds of dollars every set release player. That's not for them.
Not for me.
So when I first saw the set booster announcement, I was just like, what am I supposed to buy?
Like, I mean, what do you buy?
What is the thing that best serves me?
I was going to say, I think that it depends on what kind of cards that you want. Do you want regular cards, pack foils, pre-release foils, promo pack cards, promo pack foils, showcase cards, showcased foils, box topper cards, alternate like Godzilla framed cards? It depends what kind of cards you like.
But it just seems so hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I don't know how you're supposed to explain this to somebody that hasn't played the game before.
I think you just have to dumb it down and be like, draft booster.
Yeah.
But what's this other thing? Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if that's the right answer though. Like, is buying draft boosters worthwhile if for $1 more you can hit more? Like 1 pack per booster box, maybe 2 of a draft set, you're going to get 2 rare mythics.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen 5 times, 6 times in a draft booster or a set booster.
How many packs are in a set booster box?
30.
30, so like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like if someone asks you, like, hey, what... Could you imagine going to the store and being like, hey, can I get a pack of Zendikar?
Yeah.
And then them having to be like, can you be more specific? Yeah. And then you going, no, I want a pack. Do you want a draft booster, a collector booster, or a set booster?
Or a theme booster.
Let me help you. No, on the theme booster. So, do you want a set booster, a collector booster, or a draft booster? And then, like, the shopkeep having to explain the difference between them.
Yeah, especially for, like I said, somebody new or somebody younger or whatever. Like, I remember when I was a kid, we had a like a county park that was about 3/4 of a mile from my house, and the park was 8 miles long. And my house growing up was like on the outskirts of a town, like almost at the border to another town. And this park, you could go all the way along the lake to like the middle of the next town over. So as a kid playing Magic, I vividly remember hopping on my bike, riding my bike to the park, riding my bike 8 miles down the side of this lake through this park, out into the middle of the town, and there was a comic book store right there. And I would scrounge up all my change, and like once a week or whatever, I would go into that comic store and I would buy a pack. And I got to choose from Chronicles, Fallen Empires, or Homelands. Yeah. Now, those weren't great choices, but there were only 3 of them.
There are only 3. They were 3 different sets. Could you
Right.
imagine little James after riding uphill both ways in the snow to his comic book shop being like, do you want a Chronicles set booster? Do you want a Chronicles collector booster? Do you want a draft
I only
booster?
have my lunch money. I can't afford a collector booster.
Exactly. I didn't have a drink for lunch all week, so I could have one booster pack.
I gave up my milk in a bag all week long.
Just so I could come open, so I could give you $3 and open 15 cents worth of Homelands cards. I was just like, I'm an enfranchised player, and you're just giving me too much. Now, you know, a lot of these things, like, I just ignore. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't have to be onboarded into the game. And I can just kind of go, like, I'll do this. Yeah. Right? But it just seems like a lot of decisions. And, okay, I understand that draft boosters are for people to draft.
Right.
And I understand that collector's boosters are for people who want fancy cards.
Yeah,
like,
deep pockets.
Is the set booster for, like, you just want to crack a box and get as many rares as possible?
Basically, I think so. I was initially a lot more negative about this whole set booster thing than I am currently because I had some time to digest it. And I think that this one is for me. Like, that's kind of a running joke because Wizards has said, oh, you know, maybe this product's not for you whenever, you know, there was something critical about one of their products. Well, maybe it's just not for you. I think this one probably is for me, though. Like, I don't love playing. I mean, I play limited, but I don't love it. But I do, you know, open a bunch of packs. I like opening packs. And if kind of like what I was saying about the art cards, like, sure, there's no value in that slot, but it's kind of cool. Like, it adds something to the booster pack, even though it's not monetary value. Yeah. And there is a chance to get more than one rare, and you're guaranteed a foil, and you're guaranteed a showcase card. And for $1 more, yeah, I think that's worth it to me.
Okay.
They, like, one of the things that they said in this announcement that, like, initially I had kind of glossed over, but now makes more sense, is that something, I forget what the number they said was, like, only 30% of draft boosters are drafted with. Like, of all the boosters that are opened, only 30% are used to draft with, which means 70% of the draft boosters are opened just to open.
Fair. So but do they chop out, like, Star City? Do they chop out Channel Fireball? Because, right, like, if it's 30% of your boosters are open to draft, that doesn't sound like a lot. But if 50% of your boosters are opened by Channel Fireball, Star City, and just like LGS's cracking packs to get inventory, then, you know, that becomes 60% of the half that are actually opened by people. So it's like, oh, way more of these are drafted than we think. But yeah, I mean, I could see if your argument is that most people just open packs to get cards, and this is a way for them to get more cards.
Well, I mean, think about our LGS though. Like, normally when a set rolls out, he'll order somewhere between 60 and 80 boxes, and that usually lasts him a good portion of the way through the set's lifespan. How many of those boxes are actually drafted with? 10?
I don't know. Depends on the set and like the
Yeah,
list.
no, it definitely depends on the set. But if you're drafting twice a week with, okay, we'll call it 3 drafts a week of 8 people. But obviously, some of that is
Yeah, if it's
just
if
one
it's
event.
3 of 8, that's
So it's
72 packs a week. That's 2 boxes.
yeah. So 2 boxes over 2 months, 3 months is
24, if it's 3
yeah.
months.
Okay. So 24 boxes out of 60 or 80.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a lot less than is open to, just to open.
Yeah. I guess, is there a vocal part of the Magic community, or was there, that was like, I hate opening these stupid draft boosters?
I mean, probably not. But there was a pretty big vocal part of the community that was like, we don't like collector boosters because they're $20-something a piece.
And they sell out constantly.
Yeah, and they sell out immediately. Like, this is something that's more akin. Like, the problem with collector boosters is that people wanted them but didn't want to spend the money on them, and they were hard to get.
Yeah.
So this is a reasonable portion of a collector booster that's not limited print run and is only $1 more than a normal booster pack.
So something I said when this first came out was, I guess it's just time to only buy singles.
Yeah.
Because like, it just seems like there's so many products, and with our first 3 draft, collector, and set boosters, it just seems like you're going to flood the market with your rares and your uncommons.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for stuff to hold value. I think I've got a stack of rares, uncommons, and foils over that I need to like put in a box, but they're all sorted from M21.
Right.
And it's cards that I thought could get played in Eternal formats. I thought I might play in Standard, but that will probably never happen. And like cards that I was kind of like specking on. And I spent $200, and I have way more cards than I would have got, way more rares than I would have got for the same amount of money
For
opening
2 boxes.
for 2 boxes. And, and it was like, I have 4 full art containment priests and 4 regular containment priests.
Yeah.
Because why not? And I could not do that if I bought like boxes, right? I'd spend $200 on my 2 boxes and then have to spend another $100 to fill out the rest of the cards that I wanted.
Yeah, and not only that, but like when Throne came out and they first showed us the showcase frames or whatever, one of the points that I made was I don't like cracking product of this to get my collection because you end up with like 3 different versions of a card.
Yeah.
Well, now that problem is like even more amplified because we have like alternate named cards or whatever and different promo cards and everything else. Like you crack a box and you might have 6 copies of a card but have no play sets of a card.
What was it, like Teferi, the new one? There were like 30 something different arts for the card.
Right.
By the time you factor in like the 4 different arts, then then 4 different frames, and then 4 different frames again, then all the foils.
Yep.
Like there was a bajillion different arts, and then you could go like the stamped version, the pre-release version, whatever, right? There's a ton of different versions of that card. And yeah, you're just going to have like all these different versions.
Yeah.
And it just seems like rares right now just don't have any value. And this might change once we like, get out of quarantine, whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Right? But rares just don't have any value.
Yeah. There's kind of one other issue with all of this, like the product overload. And that's that with no MSRP, not only do you have to keep track of all of these different products that come along with every set, but you also have to keep track of the prices, because from like the start of pre-orders to the end of a set's life, the prices of those products change almost daily. Like if you look at collector boosters or whatever, or like the VIP boosters for double masters, I saw them pre-selling for as low as $80, and now that they're in demand and the cards look good, I'm seeing them for like $160.
Oh my
So
god.
depending on when you look to buy some of this stuff, like not only do you have to know whether you're shopping for draft boosters, set boosters, collector boosters, theme boosters, whatever, but you also kind of have to time when you want to buy it because the prices are already in flux. Like that kind of raises the level of complexity just to get your toes into this game. Why would people even bother? You know what I mean?
Well, you're coming at it from an entrenched player's like, oh, hey, I've got to like watch the prices, right?
Yeah.
But this can just lead to like feel bads.
Let's
say
that's exactly what I mean.
Let's say that you for some reason decide that you want to buy a VIP booster of this upcoming set, and you go on Amazon, and it's $120. Right, and you buy one, and then you talk to a friend who's like, "Oh yeah, I got mine for $90."
Right,
and you're like, "Why? It's the same thing."
$30. I could have bought 5 set boosters.
Yeah, like so it's like I think it's gonna lead like the no MSRP is gonna lead to people that feel like they got ripped off, and maybe that reflects on the seller and not so much on Wizards.
Right.
But like I still think it could reflect on Wizards. Like I don't want to. It's just too complicated. I don't want to feel like I'm getting taken.
I mean, it reflects on the seller by design, though. Like, there's only one reason why you do away with MSRP, and that's so that when you come out with these, how many was it? 16 different products for every set, that you can let somebody else figure out what they want to charge, and it doesn't look bad on you. Oh yeah, we're gonna make a product for the whales, and we'll let you guys tell us what you're charging for them. We don't care. Oh yeah, we're gonna make a product just for the drafters, and we'll let you guys tell us what you want to charge for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there still comes the they might not set MSRP, but when a wholesaler or when a distributor contacts Wizards and goes, I want to buy a case of Double Masters.
Yeah.
And Wizard says that'll be $170.
Yeah.
Like, well, then the distributor has to make it cost $190 or $200.
Right. And then the game store's got to mark it up from there.
Yeah. So, like, even if they don't like publish an MSRP, they are setting a price.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's a weird thing where like, they just keep giving us the same, like, physical thing.
Right.
That costs them the exact same amount to produce. And they're like, this one's slightly prettier.
Yeah.
So we're going to charge you 5 times as much.
Welcome to the world of marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what is the term for this? Someone where, like, it's not false economy. It's like things are desirable just because they're expensive. Not that there's any difference in it. It's just, well, this one's $300, so I'm buying it because it's a status symbol.
Right. It's the same way. Like if you go to a grocery store, 3 of the different brands on the shelf all come out of the same factory, but they got Lowe's brand or whatever. There's like 3 different brands on them. It's the same stuff inside, but they're at 3 different price points.
Yeah. No, I will say that there is a difference between frosted mini wheats and shredded oats, frosted oat squares, or whatever the heck.
Well, sure, but like, what's the difference between Lowe's brand canned corn and Bird's Eye canned corn?
Fair. It's still corn.
You know what I mean?
It is canned.
Yeah, it's corn in a can.
Yeah.
One costs $1 and one costs $1.60.
Yeah. There's definitely some of that going on.
Yeah.
But it is weird, like, again, being that player and going in and buying a booster, and you get a draft booster, and then the person after you gets a set booster.
Right.
And you're sitting there and you both open them. It's like, wow, you got way different cards than I got.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how come your pack was so different than mine?
Mine was $1 more.
Yeah, mine was $1 more. Oh, well, that sucks.
You could have had all that for an extra $1.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just feels like there's like some feel bad aspect to it.
So what I think's going to happen is that these set boosters are going to kind of replace the packs that you see in the showcase at your LGS. And, stores will order sealed draft boosters for drafting with, but I don't know that they're necessarily going to be like, on display for sale. I think that that's what this set booster is going to be. Like if you come in and ask for a pack, instead of getting a draft booster, you're going to get a set booster instead.
Yeah.
Especially since like I guess they really haven't said either way, but they have not said that this is like a limited print run. Like they do with collector boosters or like one run and done. Like you get the initial allocation and then there's no more. This does not sound like it's going to be like that. From what I understand, these set boosters are going to be available for the lifespan of the product.
Yeah. I guess I see where they're coming from, but I don't know. It is just to the point where it's like super complicated.
I mean, it's also not super fair to the LGS, right? I mean, you kind of touched on this briefly a little while ago, but like your LGS now has to stock a whole nother kind of product, especially in a time where a lot of game stores don't have a whole lot of extra capital to tie up in product to set on the shelf.
Yeah, and like I think the first few sets will be difficult because, well, how many set boosters do you need?
Yeah.
Versus how many draft boosters do you need?
Right.
Versus how many like there's this new product and it's like introducing extra risk into like I said, a point in the world where we need to minimize risk in all areas.
Right.
So I miss the simpler times where you had a booster and there was usually like one other product associated with a set. Like there's a booster, a fat pack, and maybe a deck builder's toolkit, but those were usually only for core sets.
Yeah, like sometimes we had those, I don't even remember what they were called.
Dual decks or whatever.
Yeah, but there was something besides a dual deck. They were event decks? Were they event decks?
There were the modern event decks. Yeah, they were like the pre-con decks that you were supposed to just be able to buy and play at your F&M.
Yeah, you could buy them, and it was 2 decks, and you could like play them against each other, or there was a list inside where you could combine them and make one deck that was supposed to be like F&M level competitive.
What was it? There was like the Zerta versus someone. There was like
there was the one for like Fate Reforged that had like a Windswept Heath and a Collected Company in it or something.
Yeah, those were I forget what those were. But yeah, there were those, but then there was also one that had like the 2 decks.
Yeah.
That was like, 2 like themed things before you would go into a set.
Yeah.
But yeah, like where it was just like a handful of things where you were like, okay, 4 times a year a set comes out, and then there would be like a supplemental product. Like it was Modern Masters, then Conspiracy, then Modern Masters 2, then something like it like alternated.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the 2015 number of sets that were released have been released since like June.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Right? Like we say, especially if you count Ikoria, since Ikoria to now, I think there have been more Magic products released than there were, or major products released than there were in like 2015.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
And it's like, how?
I would say that this year, starting in January, there have been more products released this year when nobody's working and nobody has money. But there have been more products released this year than there were the entire time from when I got back into Magic until January. Like if you count all the secret layers and stuff.
Oh yeah, the secret layers. Yeah, there's so many of those.
Yeah,
it just feels like I said this before. Like there's the math problem that it was like if you sell 10 tickets at $40, but if you make the tickets $80 and you sell 6, you make more money. So your ticket should cost $80. Right? So like, you figure out the optimum place that like maximizes the number of tickets sold versus the price. Right? And it feels like Wizards is just like, if we just keep giving them products, they just keep spending their money.
Yeah.
So we were leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
But if we just keep making products, they just keep buying them. So we have to keep doing this. And I just had like an evil thought. Is this maybe why like we've seen power creep? Right? Well, we have to make the cards desirable enough for people to buy. Because maybe. Like, hey, we've released all these sets. Now we've got the next set we release has to have something that makes people want to open the packs.
Yeah.
So we have to have something in there just to make sure that, well, you had to open Core 21 for your Ugin.
Right.
And you have to get now, Double Masters is your chance to get these full art cards.
Yeah.
And okay, well now we're gonna hit you with Zendikar, and we have to put special yet to be named thing in there, or we have to put this, 2-mana Planeswalker.
Yeah.
In there, so you open that, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because like we stressed out about Modern Horizons after Core 20.
Yeah.
Right, and we were like, oh man, like it just feels like we went one into the next.
Yeah, it
and
feels like nothing now.
Yeah, and it's like, well, there's gonna be 3 products if you count the Arena Amonkhet thing, or 4. Right. It's gonna be like Core, Jumpstart.
I forgot Jumpstart even happened. Yeah, Jumpstart.
Core, Jumpstart, Double Masters, Amonkhet Remastered.
Yeah.
Zendikar.
Right.
And it's like, and we were like, oh man, I can't. They can't.
There's 2 more sets after Zendikar this year.
But a year ago, we were like, oh man, we can't go. Well, they could never go core set into like another like Modern Horizons into another set. That was just, they were just too on top of each other. They were too close, so the sets didn't have room to breathe. And they were like,
said, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Bet you we can stick 2 more sets in there.
Yeah.
So,
like, how do you explain all this to somebody coming in off of Arena? Like in Arena, there's only 1 pack to buy.
Yeah, there's 1 pack.
Know what I mean?
You just click the buy pack button and you get packs.
Right. So somebody that's used to, getting their cards off of Arena, I would imagine that this is a huge shock to the system. That now, the same card that you didn't really have to work for, you just spent your wild cards on and bought from opening a couple packs, you now have to decide which booster pack to buy, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it might just come down to what you were saying, like there might only really be 1 pack. It might just be the set booster, and the draft boosters are hidden behind the counter for when there's a draft.
Yeah.
And we just don't mess with those anymore. Because, stores have to, simplify it for, inventory, and just so that they're not, doing what are we at now? An hour-long dissertation on the pack each time they go to make a sale.
Right.
Right. So,
I went down to go talk to Anthony on my lunch break today, and you know what he had to say about all this?
What's the set booster?
Exactly. He said, they what?
And he's going to put in that order soon.
Yeah. Actually, that order should already be in.
You and I think this has come across. We are both kind of frustrated by this.
I am very frustrated by all this.
Right. Where does your frustration come from?
So, why do I even want to bother? Like, I can't play with any of these cards anyway for at least the next 4 months. Probably longer than that, right?
Yeah.
So why bother? Why should I even bother anymore? Keeping track of all of this and worrying about, am I getting the best deal today, or should I wait till next week, or should I have already bought it 2 weeks ago? Or, do I want to buy a booster box to keep on the shelf in case like me and some buddies want to draft at some later point? Or should I just get a couple boxes of set boosters and crack them for singles? Or should I just buy my singles? Or do I want to really roll the dice and get some collector boosters to try and get some shiny stuff? Or, or any of these other products that are coming out at the exact same time? Why should I even bother with any of this?
I don't know, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I mean, I have exactly one deck sleeved right now. We were talking about this the other day. I have one deck sleeved right now. And it is Simic Mutate that I put together the weekend of Ikoria pre-release that is full of... I went out and I bought from the local game store after they cracked their packs. I bought all of the showcase cards because I thought they were awesome. So the deck is full of showcase cards, and it has never been shuffled.
I think the last time I played with a physical game of Magic was in February.
Yeah.
And
the dumpster fire open?
Yeah, shortly thereafter. But I have, I got 2 boxes of Ikoria to support the local game store. And like I said, for this time, I was just like, I can't really justify it. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to buy, like I said, I'm going to kind of buy a bunch of what effectively come down to, specs or things I think could be good long-term.
Yeah, which I think was smart for this set. I mean, I think the prices are artificially low right now, so I think that was probably a good move.
Right, and so I don't know if, that's going to continue with all these different products.
Yeah,
putting seemingly, it seems like every time we start to get a handle on MTG finance with, in-print sets.
Right.
They just blow something up. So,
right.
Up to Throne... we had a pretty good idea of what a played rare should cost, what a played mythic should cost, how much an uncommon that's played in modern is. We had a good sense of the numbers for those cards because we had, 5 years since we've been back in the game,
right,
to base this on. And then there were collector boosters, and it was oh man, all these uncommons are pretty cheap. Right. And all these rares that aren't the fancy ones are pretty cheap.
Right.
And then okay, Theros, and it's okay. And then you go to Ikoria, and it's all right, well now there's this kind of card and this kind of card. Okay. Right. And now you're gonna be all these different kinds of cards and all these different ways to get at them. It's just gonna kind of change the numbers of cards that are available.
Yeah, I mean, they've also shifted around the percentages since Throne. They changed the mythic rate in a pack. They changed the foil rate in a pack.
I knew they changed the foil rate. They changed the mythic rate as well?
Yeah, they decreased it slightly. In a normal draft booster, they've decreased it slightly. Or increased the chance, decreased the number of packs, whatever.
Okay, so it's slightly... You have a slightly higher chance to open a mythic.
Yeah.
In a given pack. Okay.
And now they've effectively done that again by changing the way the booster pack works, right?
Yeah, because now you have a greater chance of getting rares. So
and
rares
mythics.
And mythics, but they're just all going to be more available.
Right.
Which on one hand, the argument of it's a game, the game pieces should be easy to come by. Mm-hmm. Right? This accomplishes that. But on the other hand, right, as a collectible thing, it starts to make it so opening packs other than scratching the I'm a degenerate itch.
Yeah.
Doesn't...
We're buying $100 booster packs.
Yeah, doesn't accomplish anything.
Right.
Right? You're just losing money most of the time.
So when I went to our LGS today and was visiting with my buddy Anthony, that is exactly what he said almost verbatim. I explained to him about the new booster pack. I explained to him what all was in the pack. And his words were, they're trying to put me out of business. And I said, well, it's certainly going to make it tougher for you. And he goes, no, they're actually trying to put me out of business because this is going to do nothing except drive the singles price down. He said, all of my business, or the majority of the profit that I make, is on singles. It's not on sealed product.
Yeah.
And all this does, same thing with the collector boosters, is it drives the price of singles down.
And I mean, there's also this other thing, which is, so I can play pretty much any deck I want to play on Arena.
Mm-hmm.
I have the cards for.
Right.
Right? I spent around $50
mm-hmm.
to get every card.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't get that. I can't extract any value out of that $50.
Right.
But I spent $50 and I have all the game pieces I want
mm-hmm.
for the set. Right? It's way harder to do that in a regular set.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I spent $50 on drafts and I got all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spend $50 in drafts, you're going to see 15 packs worth of cards.
Right.
Right? At $10 a piece for a draft. You know, if it's 15, you're going to see 9 packs.
Right.
Like 9 rares that you like open and get first pick of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you know, the economy there is not good either for if you're an LGS. Like, why am I going to spend $15 to do a draft when I can spend $5 and do it on Arena?
Yeah. Well, so you want to talk about Arena for a minute?
I guess we can.
Yeah.
So we're
That's
frustrated.
another one of my frustrations.
So we're frustrated because, like, can't play with my cards, and you're giving me a million ways to buy them.
Right.
And then the next frustration is the formats aren't good.
No, they're not. Like, Historic was awesome for a week, maybe a week.
Maybe.
Because it was all new, and there were all these new cards. Like, you wanted to try them all out, and there was Elves, and there was Soul Sisters, and there was Kethis combo, and like every single time I signed up for a Historic match, it was something different. They were, you know, it wasn't all the same.
Whoops.
And now it's all goblins.
It's a lot. Like, I've been playing best of one. I had a neat deck. I was doing well, and then proceeded. Like, I did well for like 3 days.
Yeah.
The meta shifted, and it's like, oh well, oops.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like we're kind of to. There's goblins. Mm-hmm. There's Field of the Dead decks.
Mm-hmm.
There's like hard control to fight those decks, and then a smattering of like, you know, 10% of other turn 4 combo and aggro decks that are trying to like desperately get under Field of the Dead and like hoping that goblins doesn't goblins them.
Yeah. And like, I think this, you know, we've talked about it on the show before, but this isn't anything new either. It's every time a set comes out, every time there's more cards added to the pool, every time there's a banning, every time anything happens, the format is at least different, but usually fun for about a week. And then it's all of the same thing all of the time.
It homogenizes and goes to, you know, the same. It goes, homogenizes and then go to the same things, same words. It homogenizes, and then the format you're just trying to wring tiny edges out, or you're like at this like rock paper scissors thing where you're just like, well, can't win this matchup. Yeah. Or like, hey, I'm playing a deck that is good, but in this meta game is just awful, and so I can't play it.
Right. It homogenizes and then stagnates. How's that?
There we go. And I brought this up that like the problem with Jumpstart is if you look at Jumpstart putting cards in Historic, so Standard is too small for Arena because there aren't enough cards for people to pick through and figure out what's good over the course of a month. It takes a week.
Right.
Or it takes 4 days, and you're like, oh, this is the best thing to do. And we're done. And, you know, there might be some, like, tinkering on the edges, or a new deck might pop up because of where the metagame is. But for the most part, you know what the best 2 decks are within about a week.
Yeah, if not almost immediately.
Historic, we talked about this before, was kind of ignored.
Right.
So you kind of got to do whatever you wanted. And they're doing this PT or this Arena Open in Historic. So that has led people to focus on the format and try to break it.
Right.
And Standard has been so bad that all these content producers and all these websites have started producing Historic content.
Yeah.
Because people were like, I don't want to play Standard. I don't want to read about Standard. I know Team Erect's the best deck.
Right.
So then we started making Historic content.
Like, technically, Historic isn't even a format, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it only exists on Arena.
It only exists on Arena. And so it's like, okay, it went from being this like sandbox that you could do what you wanted in and you would like see different things, right? Like the go-to meme deck was Treasure Hunt.
Right.
I've not seen Treasure Hunt played in the last like week.
Yeah, no.
And that was a deck that you would run into if you played for an hour, you'd play against it once or twice.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, oh, it's Treasure Hunt.
Yeah.
Okay. That deck's gone now. I mean, it's not a good deck.
I saw a Twitch clip that was Treasure Hunt versus Goblins. And Treasure Hunt went off and made like I don't know how 30 goblin or 30 zombies or whatever, like a ton, and was gonna win the next turn. And then Goblins played a Muxus and hit 2 chain whirlers.
So are they playing? What are they playing to make zombies?
Zombie infestation.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of just what's it called? Treasure Hunt into Thassa's Oracle.
Oh, okay.
But whatever. So you have, that kind of like weird situation where the card format was big enough that if you weren't trying super hard to break it, you couldn't break it. But it's not so big that if everyone looks at the format for like 2 or 3 weeks, that it doesn't break. And then with Jumpstart put cards into Historic that
aren't standard
legal, and you look at them and go like, this is the best version of this card that will ever be printed. Right. Crater Hoof is, I think we said this before, is the best version of that card that will ever be printed.
Right.
We have the fixed Crater Hoof in Standard, and it is like laughably bad compared to Crater Hoof. Right. So now Crater Hoof's in the format. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're going to have a green deck that needs like a big stompy payoff, you have to play Crater Hoof. Right? The elf, the Allosaurus Shepherd, is a card that people looked at and said, that probably fits in Legacy Elves.
Legacy Elves.
That is probably not a card you need like in the same format as, I don't know,
Leafkin Druid.
Leafkin Druid, exactly. Like, this could work in Legacy Elves, right? And then like Muxus is an absurd magic card that I was like, does this make Legacy Goblins just busted?
I mean, look at it for face value. It's a red card that puts 5 cards from your deck into play for free.
I have been combo killed by elves by goblins on turn 3 multiple times. Where I'm just like, oh, there's literally nothing I can do now. Mm-hmm. I'm just getting rolled. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool. And
pick it up.
Yeah, and that deck's good because it also like just backdoors into 1-drop, 2-drop, Lord. Right. And it's like,
the fail case scenario was still a good tribal deck.
Yeah, it's a good tribal deck that has a combo finish on turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Legacy Elves, huh?
Yeah, they can win like a super grindy matchup. You have these card pools on Arena that are not big enough to like stand up to the pace at which the machine churns through the cards on Arena.
Right.
Right. So as you put more of those cards that are like the best version of this, or hey, is this legacy playable? For every one of those cards, I think you probably eliminate like 10 cards from playability.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Every time you see one of those cards, you're like, oh my god, this card is ridiculous. There's just like a whole archetype that gets thrown in the trash can. And so, like, you know, you're like, oh, hey, Muxus makes goblins good. Well, any other tribal deck goes away.
Right.
Other than elves, because elves got Crater Hoof and Allosaurus Shepherd. Right?
I mean, but even that matchup's not good.
No.
Like, goblins pushes elves out. It's just quicker and more explosive.
Yeah. So you just don't have big enough card pools to stand up to Arena. Yeah. And so all your matches become the same. And if you do try to play something a little odd, you just like get ground up. You're just like, oh,
you make you feel like you made a mistake by registering something that wasn't
one of those couple decks. Yeah, because you're just like, I think yesterday I was playing and it was a struggle, but I got to like 5 wins and I kept playing and I think I lost like 8 games in a row. And I was just like, okay, I've got to do something else. Like this is awful. And like, that's just not an enjoyable experience when you're like, oh, okay, it's Arboreal Grazer into Growth Spiral, into Explore, into, you know, Migration Path Ugin.
Right.
Cool. And then the next game's like, oh no, it's different. It's Explore into Growth Spiral. Why do we need Explore and Growth Spiral, both legal, in the same set that like Ramp has been the best thing to do with the majority of that card pool for like 2.5 years. So Arena kind of sucks the fun out of it.
Yeah. And like, I've realized a couple things about Arena lately, and it's mainly due to the fact that we're not allowed to play Paper Magic right now. And it kind of makes me realize just how much Arena is not Paper Magic. Like, Arena's fine, and, you know, I enjoy playing Arena some percentage of the time. But what I was excited for when Arena launched was a place to kind of practice whatever deck I was going to play in Standard. And, like, that doesn't exist right now because, like, there's nothing... Like, I'm not, you know, getting reps with historic goblins because I'm going to play in a big historic event next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's not that, like I'm going to get good with this deck so I can play it at F&M. Right. Or I think this deck is good, I'm going to tune it, and I think it'll be good at F&M, so I'm going to play it on Arena so I can have this, like, neat rogue thing to show up with.
Right.
Right? It's like, nope. And also, like we said before, like, it does really punish you. Like, you can go to an F&M, and it sucks if you show up with, like, a goofy deck, and you go, like, 1-3, but, like, 2 or 3 games, the deck got to do the thing that you wanted it to do. Right. And someone else saw it. It felt cool. It was cool. It felt good, right? You can play...
Maybe you got a compliment.
Yeah, you can play on Arena... And, like, you do the thing, and you're just like, all right, it did the thing. Go to the next game.
Damn it. Or you don't even get to do the thing because your opponent scoops halfway through it.
Yeah, or you're like, oh, it didn't do the thing. And, you don't get a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the satisfaction comes from getting wins.
Right.
Which then means you've got to play the top-tier decks to get the wins. Right? Like, I am looking forward, and we'll see, to Pioneer showing up, because at least if you're jamming Pioneer games, you're getting good at, like, an actual format.
Yeah.
But, like, right now, like, what Arena formats do you think you should play? Like,
I I don't know. I feel like this is the same question that I had when we were talking about, all of the set ways to purchase Magic cards. Like, which one of these is for me? And, I have, since I wrote this episode out and me and you have talked, and, I've listened to some other people's opinions on the topic. Like, I have kind of come to the realization that this product is for me. The set boosters are for me. I think that's, my place in the Magic ecosystem is set boosters. I don't have that feeling with Arena, though. Like, I don't know which way to play Arena is for me. I have tried really hard most seasons on Arena. We are a couple days away from the season reset, right? It's
yeah, which
Thursday or Friday or
as
something.
you were saying that, I was like, oh yeah, that is the thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, like, I feel I did really well this season. Like, I've talked with you a couple times about what decks were doing well, and, I've told you win percentages that I've pulled off of this tracking software or whatever, and they're very good. Do you know where I'm going to end up this season?
Are you Diamond?
Diamond 4, yeah. I was
Nice.
Diamond 1 at one point. But, I mean, I've played a ton and had some very good win percentages. The highest I made it was Diamond 1, and I'm currently Diamond 4.
I made it almost a Plat 2, and then the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I think, like, we were in the chat talking to Christos. This was, like, kind of partly about streamers versus boomers. But
well, that's going to happen on Wednesday, I think.
He's just gonna get rolled by a bunch of people. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think there's 8 people that he's accepted a challenge from that he's going to do on Wednesday.
I hope they all show up and are like super focused and just like
Sperling's one of them.
Okay, who just goes like, well, Sperling's tweet. Okay, we got sidetracked. If you didn't see, Croaky's made a comment that he was like, he thought he was in the top 50 Magic players of all time.
Yeah.
Or the top 50 players playing right now. And people were like, I think Andre Strosky was like, this is a meme, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't actually think this. Which then got him all hot and bothered. And he's like, well, I'm sick of these paper boomers talking.
Paper boomers.
So he wanted to challenge some of these paper boomers to like show stuff, and like I think Matt Sperling tweeted at him, "We play for checks. Croaky's grinds the ladder." And it's like, and he's like, "Well, people put too much stock in like winning one single event." And it's like, but what if you're the person who's like top 16, like 7 of them?
Yeah.
Right, over the course of like 10 years, like you're consistently good. Yeah. Like watching the PT finals this weekend, out of the 142 players that show up, there were at least 50 that I know I would take before Croaky's, no problem. People that I hadn't even thought of, and they were like, Mike Sigris is playing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I would totally take Sigris over Croaky's. Sigris was like, what set are we drafting? To Croaky's, like, what set are we going to draft? I'll totally do it if we get to draft. But yeah, it was funny. But
I just tagged you in Croaky's tweet. He's playing Sick of It, which is Sperling.
Yes.
Sandy Dog. I don't know who Sandy Dog is.
Oh, Sandy Dog's I forget what his real name is. He has MS. His mom like shuffles his cards for him.
Oh yeah.
He won a modern GP.
Yeah,
playing Burn.
Once, I think.
Playing Burn.
Yeah.
He's like the best. He's probably one of the best mono red players, if not the best mono red player in the world.
Yeah, I think I played against him in either Atlanta or Charlotte one year. MTG HOF bot.
Hall of Fame bot? I don't know who that one is.
Know who that is. Michael Majors.
Okay.
Christian Calcano.
Okay, Majors might be a little rusty.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's working for Wizards for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, MTG HOF bot is Perks Alert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Christian Calcano.
Okay.
Andrew Ellenbogen.
Okay.
Sebastian Puzzo.
Okay.
And Seth Manfield.
And I'll be honest, like
Yeah.
he didn't even get the top tier,
Yeah.
right? Like there are some of these people I'm just like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like I'm surprised. Strosky was like talking lots of junk. I'm surprised Strosky's not in there.
I'm sure he picked people that he felt like he could beat.
Sick burn, Seth Manfield. Croaky 60's got you. Player of the year. Yeah, no, I don't know how it's set up, but like,
I don't know either.
But like, if one match doesn't tell you a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think that if you played, if they played 10 matches a person, right?
Yeah.
If they win like 60% against them, like he's getting rolled, and it's like, why won 40%? It's like, yeah, you're supposed to win 40. Even when you're bad, you win 40% of your matches.
Right.
But like we were talking, so going back.
Yeah, back on the rails.
Back on the rails. Like the grind to Mythic is just a numbers game.
Right. It is directly related to how much time you spend on the ladder.
I really focused when we first started the podcast and when the formats were more fun on making Mythic. It was something that was important to me. And at one point, what kind of got us, me tracking wins and losses was I was tracking all my wins and losses for the podcast. I knew my win rate exactly. And I just wrote up a little formula and I was like, okay, at my current win rate, I need to play 205 matches to get to Mythic.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I've got 7 days till it resets. I've got to play 30 matches a day.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. and
you did.
I ran hot. I got it in like 110 or something.
Yeah.
Like I ran real hot and I was like, oh my God. But I was like, my win rate's 56%. Do the math. This is how many I have to win.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay. So it is just like a question of how much you play.
Yeah.
And of course there is, a difference between, right, being Mythic and being number one Mythic.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much different that is in terms of like, maybe your win rate has to be 60% as opposed to 55.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But like, I can make Mythic and like be in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I've never made a Pro Tour.
Right.
Right? So like, the level of competition that you're playing as a Croaky's being number one Mythic is different than, the level of play that Seth Manfield is playing, and, he's got a 63% win rate at the Pro Tour.
Right.
Or whatever it is. And it's like, oh, that's way different than a 63% win rate on the ladder.
Yeah.
Like, one of my wins, he just fell asleep on his keyboard. Like, that doesn't happen at the Pro Tour.
I got lucky and had 2 disconnects against me today.
Yeah, boom. Mold to 6, scooped. Okay, awesome. Right. But, yeah, so, like, just the grind of Mythic, like, it's a numbers game, and it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Right?
Like,
and
one of the things that, like, I had put in our little chat when we were talking about this is that, like, I have found myself a couple times quitting, like, exiting out of Arena. Not because, I had something better to do or because, there was really a reason for me to, but it was because I had just had a really good run and, bumped my rank up and then ran into a little rough patch and had a couple losses in a row and found that or realized that I need to make either a change to my deck or a change to my play patterns, but I didn't want to risk my rank to test those changes out. So instead of doing that, I'll just walk away from it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's not healthy or,
yeah. like I said,
Like, I'm playing this game for fun. Like, I don't want to have to feel like, oh, I don't want to hurt my rank, so I'm gonna take a break. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I got there's only so many hours I can play Arena for, and if I got to take a break to protect my rank, that's not cool.
yeah, and I mentioned like I feel like they give me platinum for free now because they changed how you get through gold by making it 2 steps. So it's like, okay, I get platinum for free, so I play to platinum.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, all right, maybe I'll play ranked today. Maybe I'll play unranked. Maybe I need to get a couple wins real quick, or I need to cast some black spells, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But like after I get to platinum, I don't really worry about my rank. If I start to go up, then I'm like, okay, maybe I can get to the next one, but I've stopped really focusing on it.
Yeah.
I decided in Ikoria that I was going to hit Mythic and draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, but that format was really fun, and I did 55 drafts.
Wow.
Right? I hit Mythic with like a 57 or 56% win rate just because I did all the drafts.
Right.
All of them. It wasn't that I'm like some limited mastermind. So like even hitting Mythic, you're not like, I'm a Mythic gamer. You're just like, oh... I played way too much this month.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, you have here that the challenges aren't really a good level of competition to if you don't want to play ranked.
Right. Yeah, there's, like, nothing in the middle. You either play on the ladder and everything's, like, hyper competitive and, you know, you got to worry about every little interaction and... like I said, you know, changing your play patterns or changing your card choices or whatever and risking your rank. So, you know, you would think that a good thing to do instead of that is, oh, I'm going to go, you know, enter a tournament, enter an quote unquote FNM, you know what I mean? Where you're just going to play like 4 or 5 rounds, whatever, and have a good time. But then you go in to play like one of these challenges and they're full of garbage. Like I the first thing that popped into my head was, you know, you sit down and you shuffle up and realize your opponent's playing Ladies Looking Left Tribal.
Okay, explain that. You had to explain it to me.
So Ladies Looking Left Tribal is it's like an EDH meme. Somebody made a deck that the theme of the deck was just artwork featuring ladies that are looking to their left.
Yes, you can go look this up on like MTG on Tapped Out.
Yeah.
And you can go through all the art, which I did. And
Did you really?
I just started scrolling down.
Yeah.
And I was like, they all are looking to the left. I'll be damned. But yeah, like, if like you're not enjoying playing the ladder because you're stressing over rank, which I'm like I'm doing less of now, but then you're like, okay, I don't want to stress about rank at all. I'm going to go, but I still want to have some level of like something on the line, some stakes. Right. I'll go do an event, and if the events just don't feel good, right, then you can... I play a lot of unranked when I just don't want to worry about anything. Yeah. But the problem with unranked is, if you register a mountain, you will only play against other mountains.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, I'm just going to play mono red to try to get 4 wins, you just play the mono red mirror. Which, I'm not like anti-mirror, but it's just like, it's the same experience over and over and over again. Oh, and then if you...
Real quick aside on the mirror. I was watching, I think I was waiting for the PT to start on Saturday so I could, you know, watch some real Magic. And I had it on Croaky's stream because he was like the only person streaming before the PT started. And he was playing a Teamer Rec mirror. And did nothing but complain the whole time about having to play mirrors and how he wishes he could never, ever play another mirror again in his life. And I just found that was kind of funny since if you
50th greatest player in the world.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, though, because if you talk to all these pros or the paper boomers or whatever, like most of the time they say that like the mirror match is the most skill-intensive, like skill-testing way to play your deck.
Yeah. You know what and cards they have.
Just like, no, man, I don't want to play this.
Yeah. Like, watching them play the mirror on the PT coverage, and it's like, oh, they're not casting the counterspell here because it represents, so they can do this, and it represents this, and it's just like, yeah, cool. I would have countered that. I would have got blown out. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like, why didn't he cast that Uro? Oh, because he's gonna hold up Dovin's veto. Oh yeah, okay. I just been like 6/6, and then like got explosioned for 800 on the next turn. It's like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. Does not beat an explosion for 800. Check.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's why I end up playing a lot of the events.
Yeah.
Because there's like a teeny tiny little bit of stakes, tiny little.
Yeah.
There's no stress if you lose some, other than like the frustration of like, I need to get 4 wins.
Right.
And oftentimes the events are something different. And it's just like,
they're palate cleansers.
It's like, oh, I'm not playing the same thing. Right. So, it just seems like, meh. Yeah. Like Arena just has given me another way to play Magic, but I think it's also broken Magic simultaneously.
Yeah, I think so too.
Please keep listening to our Arena podcast. I don't know. It's like, I don't know where I fit in the Magic ecosystem anymore, especially like my place I thought was, low level junior grinder, right? Would
like
go
not somebody that travels every weekend, but somebody that enjoys it. And, likes being competitive and is willing to spend a couple bucks to do it.
Yeah. But like, that person's kind of gotten phased out of Magic.
Right. And
the Arena grind isn't for me.
No.
So.
Me neither.
And the way they're reprinting stuff and printing stuff, MTG Finance is rough.
Yeah.
Real rough.
Yeah.
So this came up. So with the same idea is Historic not being a big enough card pool.
Right.
So Pioneer's coming, and
getting Amonkhet remastered, and we're getting Pioneer Masters.
Yeah. So
Arena.
Someone's like, I'm worried about Pioneer on Arena with Inverter. And I was like, well, do you think that because we're going to have all these different people with their eyes on it that haven't been playing it before, right? Because right now the only place to play Pioneer is Magic Online.
Right, and that's terrible.
And no one's playing the format, like things aren't firing, and people are blaming it on the format being bad.
Right.
It could also just be that, like we've said before, why are you playing this format? You can't play it in paper.
Yeah, and Magic Online's not the easiest place to play Magic.
Yeah, like, I spent $50 for the whole set, and I was looking at, like, buying a, like, Tier Z Pioneer deck.
Yeah. And
it was going to be $250.
Right. And like, the events don't cost any less than paper events do.
Yeah, and I'm like, no thanks. I'm not going to... I already have this deck in paper.
Right.
But if you move, like, Pioneer to Arena, does it change the Pioneer metagame? Right, because right now everyone's like, oh, it's broken and stale. And it's like, but why does anyone have any, like, desire to innovate?
Yeah.
And make the format different?
Well, I mean, I think your question might even go a little bit beyond that, though. Like, yeah, I mean, it being on Arena is going to put a lot more eyes on it, but it's also going to put a different kind of eye on it. Like, I know we've made the comment before that, like, SCG events are different from GPs, are different from store level stuff, right? Like, there's whole metagame segments that are just different. Like, the European metagame's different than the North American metagame. Yes. And, like, I'm wondering if the Arena metagame is going to be different than the paper metagame just because of the nature of Arena. Like, if you want to jam all of your games in a short period of time, the meta is going to be skewed to aggro decks.
Yeah, mono red, mono white.
Yeah, as opposed to, like, in paper where Inverter's king.
And Christos brought up something like it might just, like, exacerbate the Inverter problem because you might get people that are less skilled players playing the format and just getting clowned by people that are good with Inverter.
Yeah, and then when those people try Inverter out, they get clowned, and then they just think they're a terrible player and quit the game.
Or just complain that you need to ban Inverter.
Right.
As opposed to, like, the metagame changing. Because, like, Inverter's good now, says the guy who has it in foil. But, like, the way they're printing cards, like, there could just be a card in Zendikar that just totally invalidates that deck.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, oh, you have
Reverter.
Or you have a turn 5 combo with Disruption. Well, I have a turn 4 combo now with my sweet, I don't know, Brain Maggot Trap or something.
Yeah.
Where exile the number of cards. If you've cast 15 spells this turn, exile your opponent's library.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no. Why?
You triggered my trap card.
Exactly. So yeah, like, you know, is Pioneer even a big enough format to stand up to the Arena machine?
Yeah, I don't know.
And our Lord and Savior Crokies.
Our Lord and Savior Crokies.
Yeah. All right.
Have you ever watched one of his streams?
For a few minutes, like, I have, especially recently, I have gravitated to, if I'm going to watch a stream, I want something that is, like, entertaining and, like, low stress.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to watch Frank Lepore, but sometimes he got a little too grumpy and preachy.
Yeah.
And, like, Caleb is sometimes a little, like, confrontational with his chat.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm just like, no, I'm not here for this. Like, so, you know, it's been, oh God, what's his name? Anu, he just did a CFB video.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah, the legacy guy that I showed you.
And I watched part of his stream, and it was, like, super relaxed. He had a guy, like, hop on Discord who's good with a deck he was playing and just, like, talk through, like, plays and stuff. And it was, like, you know, his chat, like, there were, like, 70 people watching him.
Yeah.
So it was, like, super small, and, like, he knows everyone in his chat. It was, like, a relaxed environment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and Crokies, the little I've watched, he seems a little confrontational.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? No, I don't want, like, some British guy yelling at someone else that they're dumb, and by extension, me. I'm already yelled at by a small person.
Like, I don't think confrontational is even the right word. Like, he's just not a pleasant person, I don't think.
Yeah. For some reason, that seems to sell on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to go here and, like, deal with, like...
Get berated.
Yeah, deal with the person that would be the dick at my job. You know who I hate? I freaking hate George at work. But I'm going to watch his stream so he can yell at me. Like, no. No, thank you. I'm not going to go watch British George yell at me. But I think that you're just going to get, like, so many more people playing it. Because when the format started, like, there were all kinds of, like, decks. There was just new stuff kind of popping up all the time and then getting kind of, like, banned and knocked back down.
Right.
And then, like, no more Pro Tours, no more Paper Magic. And everyone's like, oh, it's just Inverter. It's so bad. And it's like, if you're getting events with 16 people, maybe it's because no one wants to buy into the format when they can't do anything with it.
Right.
And
and I think that's part of my problem with everything. Right? The reason I'm kind of disheartened with, like, the direction that, you know, Wizards is taking the game and coming out with all these products. And the reason why I'm not super happy playing Arena right now is that there's just no point. Like, if you can't play, everything to me comes down to being able to play Paper Magic. I like everything about Paper Magic. I like the cards. I like my friends. I like the social aspect of it. I like going to my local game store. I like supporting local businesses. Like, every part of that I enjoy. And I can't do any of that. And I think it's just kind of bringing me all down.
We are paper boomers.
We are paper boomers. Back in my day, I rode my bike to the comic book store.
8 miles.
My lunch money on a Fallen Empires pack.
Yeah, it's just right, like, that was what I always felt like, because I didn't play Magic Online, I was behind when I went to an event. Right. Because, you know, there was a certain percentage of the people that I played against that spent 40 hours the previous week tuning their like 75th card.
Right.
Right. And like we talked about it for a while, maybe played some games at Cameron's, and then like showed up. Right. And then I was like, oh, cool, Arena. This is going to give me a way to like be on par with people that play a bunch. And I feel like for like the Richmond GP, that played out. Like I didn't day 2, but I feel like I had a really good deck for what the meta game was.
Right.
And I beat every Oko deck I played. Because that's what I was supposed to do with that deck. And I lost to the 2 Rakdos Sacrifice decks I played. Because that's what that deck was supposed to do. But like I felt like, hey, I played a lot of Arena and I'm good to go. And I felt like that kind of leveled my playing field some. And now it's like, well, why am I playing? Like now I basically play to get my 4 wins to get my free gold.
Right.
But like I didn't spend hardly any of my gold when this last set came out. Because I was just like, I'll spend my gems.
Once you spent some on Jumpstart though, right? You spent some on Jumpstart though, right?
Mainly just the $15 on gem. I bought the $15 of gems, and that's all I spent.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, like $15 for like a week and a half, a weekend's worth of fun. It's like that seems like good EV, as it were.
Yeah.
So okay, we have dumped on the current state of Magic and all the things they're selling us.
Yeah.
How do we fix it?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I just read the show notes.
Yeah. I really don't have any idea. I think, like, as we've kind of alluded to, the introduction of set boosters is probably going to decrease the number of draft boosters that stores are going to require to, like, sell to their customers. I don't think it's going to be a 1-for-1 split because, like, there's more of a reason for somebody to buy a set booster now than there was a draft booster. So I don't think like it's going to 1-for-1 equate. Like if you sell one less draft booster box, I think that's going to be more like, a box and a half of set boosters that you'll sell, which is better for the game store. It definitely drives singles prices down, right? We talked about that already. And that kind of tells me that maybe we need to change the way we approach a new set release, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's not the same value in opening a pack or a box now.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, because there's a foil in every set booster pack and because every card in a collector booster pack is foil, I can buy foil common, uncommon play sets for $40 maybe.
Yeah, or like what you want, super easy. Like they're super cheap.
Yeah. And then the price of rares being so cheap, like it still boggles my mind how cheap like foil conspicuous Snoop is under $3 right now.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely insane.
I think the way I'm going to approach sets is what I did this time until like the singles prices come back, if they come back, which is, hey, these are the cards I want. And it's basically all I did as Core 21 was coming out. Is like, what cards do I want? Mm-hmm. And then I just bought those cards.
Like, I don't know. We really haven't had any events to speak of for like a Courier Core 21. But if you think back to Theros, which we did have events for, like, what was the most expensive pre-order card? Uro at $30?
Yeah, it was maybe.
And now Uro's $60?
Yeah.
So you could have even pre-ordered your Uros at Theros release and come out ahead.
I bought a foil alt art Ashiok. The 5-minute Ashiok.
Yeah.
$11.
$11.
Like, what is that? Like, that's not reasonable.
Right.
Now, there are still some cards, like, I bought a foil full art Castle Lochtwain, and it was like 20, it was like 30.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like, these are all stupid cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why?
Yep.
Why would I, like, buy packs? Because, like, how good of a pack do you have to get to break even on $5?
Right.
Because, like, EV calculations for, like, standard legal sets are great,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, they don't see 2 weeks into the future.
Right.
Because, like, using pre-release prices, hey, my EV is this. But, you know, when I went and picked up my Ikoria boxes, the EV on an Ikoria box was, like, underwater. It was $70.
Yeah.
And I spent $100, so I just lit $30 on fire.
Right.
And it's like, and I still have to buy singles to, like, make up for the cards I didn't get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that problem's just going to be exacerbated with set boosters.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
I can definitely see myself cracking some set boosters like for fun during F&M or whatever if we ever get to play F&M again. But yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you where instead of, buying my normal box plus prize winnings and having most of what I need, I think I'm just going to buy singles.
Yeah, just identify the handful of cards. Like I think cards kind of break into three categories for me when a set comes out. Like things I don't know if I'll play, but I think are like, short or long term like speculations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then the things that I will play, and that's usually a pretty small universe of things.
Yeah.
And then things that I will just end up selling for a quarter when the set rotates.
Yeah.
Right? And like if I can eliminate all those quarters,
right,
and turn those quarters into things that are kind of like specs / long-term playable things and things that I will play.
Right. Or like cards that you just enjoy. Like my scoozes, you know what I mean? Like I don't think I'm going to make money on them, but that's a card I will play forever, probably.
Yeah. So, like, that is just a different way of looking at a set now, as opposed to, I'm going to get 2 boxes so I have, like, a big portion of the set. Yeah. It's more like, no, I'm going to get, the handful of cards that I need. And there's some stuff I think I missed from Core 21, like, I haven't bought any Seasoned Hallow Blades.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, worst case scenario, that card's $1.
Yeah. I got foil ones.
Ooh.
For 30 cents, I think.
Yeah. But, like, worst case scenario, that card's $1. Okay, I'll spend $4 and get them. Right. Like, it's not a big deal. As opposed to buying a $4 pack and getting, a god-awful rare.
And no Seasoned Hallow Blades.
No Seasoned Hallow Blades. It's like, I can just spend $4 and get exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It is going to be weird, like, to just not be like, oh, I'm going to buy 2 boxes.
Right.
Because, like, it doesn't make any sense to a lot of times now.
Yeah. We should try and get better about posting what we're buying, too. Like, even if we don't identify it as a spec, it might be worth it to somebody just to see, what kind of stuff we're buying as we approach this new way to consume product.
Full art Lucas or borderless Lucas are $4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a playset. I'm like, huh. I'm sure at some point they will print something stupid into Pioneer.
Right.
And then I will transmogrify and Luca for them. This will be fun.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. It's like, huh.
Yeah.
What is the biggest thing I can put into play in any format?
Crater Hoof.
Crater Hoof. Okay, check. So, yeah. I wish, like, Brian Gottlieb a couple months ago now wrote an article that just said, like, I want to love Magic again.
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of where I am. Mm-hmm. Like, Magic is still something I enjoy. Yeah. But, like, today, I haven't played any Arena today. Like, I had an hour 15 before dinner, and I was like, I'm going to go upstairs and play The Outer Worlds.
Oh, is that any good? I've been meaning to pick that up.
I got it for $30 on the PlayStation Store, so it might be cheap. It's, from what I've played it for like 5 hours. Yeah. It is Fallout in space. If you liked Fallout like New Vegas, I don't know if the story is as good, but like it's a brighter, more colorful world. The part that I'm in, so I'm still like at the beginning. I'm repairing my ship, but there are like side quests and like the people talk to you just like in Fallout.
Yeah.
And like I'm on a quest where it's like one group wants me to do something and another group wants me to do the exact opposite thing, so I have to pick
a group.
And like you get faction like reputation and whatnot. So it is a lot like Fallout. I still haven't figured out all the ins and outs, but it has been fun.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to check it out. I've been meaning to for a while now and just haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, and it's short, in air quotes. Like, yeah. I think if I went and looked, if you turbo through the game, it's like 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
And like they said, like a completionist might be like 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, I can play this. Like the game has like a reasonable end.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like a 70-hour thing.
Right.
Where it's like
200 hours into Skyrim.
Yeah, like it's like where I'm never gonna get to the end of it. Yeah. Like, you know, I can get a couple hours in here and there and get to the end of it eventually.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like 5 hours in. So, but yeah, anyway, right? Like on some level, Arena is just like another video game, as opposed to being like something Magic Magic for a while was like the only thing I did. Like I didn't do other stuff. So that I could, like, shuffle up in goldfish decks. And now it's like, I can get my 4 wins or I can't, like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a shame.
Yep.
Sure.
All right, so we're revisiting Double Masters. Because someone heard me say I don't know if $100 is worth it, and they just like kept printing like ridiculous cards.
Yeah.
And pretty much none of the what is it called? None of the spoiled cards are box toppers or the you know the showcase cards from the VIP boosters. Strike me as
misses.
Like
Phyrexian Metamorph, maybe?
Metamorph, maybe, and that might be it. Like
I'm probably sad if I open a Goblin Guy.
Yeah, that one's probably not great. That one just got spoiled today.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like the tower, power plant, and mine, it's a question of how much they're gonna be.
Right.
But, right, I'm not sure about those, but I think the rest of them are all going to be, you know, pretty valuable. Now, this is dependent. This is dependent on how many of them there are, right? Because we're dealing with something that we've not ever dealt with before.
Right.
Right, because, was it Ultimate Masters had the box toppers? Right? And, right, you would think some of those are even more rare.
Yeah.
Because they were just one per box, right?
Right.
They were just literal box toppers, and they're still like a foil Gaddock Teeg was like $30.
Well, I picked up my Tassigers for like $10 a piece.
Yeah. So
and, like that card sees play.
Yeah, so it's a question of like, you know, I think it's a question of numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Like if there's tons and tons and tons and tons of VIP boosters that get cracked, presumably by stores,
right?
Then how much are all these cards worth?
Yeah.
If there aren't a lot of them opened, then who doggy? Like,
yeah, I mean, some of these are almost $100 or more, like the previous version was.
Yeah, like Jace's have plummeted.
Yeah.
But Jace was at $100 for just like a Jace.
Yeah, Mana Crypt's $200. Mox Opal was $100. Force of Will was $100.
Yeah.
Stoneforge was $80. Dark Confidant at one point was $80. Noble Hierarch at one point was $80.
So, yeah, it's just a question of how many there's going to be.
Yeah.
Something to point out, I don't know if we brought it up last time, that the box toppers, they are actually holding their rarities. So it's not like all the box toppers appear with the same frequency.
Right.
So you're twice as likely to get a rare as you are to get a mythic.
Yep.
So, right, you're gonna get your Council of Judgments, Stoneforge Mystics, Brainstorms, which I can't tell if that art's good or not. Like, I can see it, but
I dig it.
Yeah. Then
I'm a fan.
So you're more likely to get like your rares than you are like the mythics. So it's not like, I think the box toppers for like Ultimate Masters were just like a box topper. Like you were equally likely to get a Lava Claw Reaches as you were a Liliana.
Probably.
So
what do you think about, while we're looking at them here, I don't know if you pulled them up on your screen or not, but what do you think of the crop rotation?
The crop rotation is pretty nice.
Yeah. Is it going to replace your OG foils?
I don't think. I don't know. Like, it's so hard to replace, a classic.
Border foils, yeah.
Yeah. An Urza Saga foil. Like, come on. Yeah. Those are pretty nice. Now, people are speculating that we might get Thoughtseize. Like, you could maybe talk me off my Invocation Thoughtseizes.
Yeah. Oh, especially if it's, I guess it wouldn't be Lorwyn. It would be new art.
Yeah. Like, depending on how much the Dark Confidants are, like, that's a card that Depths plays from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So I could,
I kind of dig this art, too.
Yeah. Some people aren't happy with it, but...
Yeah.
We can't make everyone happy.
Yeah. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I like it better than the Modern Masters art, but I'm still kind of partial to OG Bob.
So there's OG Bob, Skrillex, and then this one.
Yeah.
So, has my opinion changed on VIP boosters? I think you are probably getting closer to maybe getting $100 out of your box more consistently. But I think that you still are, like, much like you said about what time you buy stuff, right? Like, you're probably going to get way more value in the first week,
right,
than you are like in the third week.
Yeah.
Right. And then just depending on how many there are, you might get your value again 2 months out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It might still be this for me. It's definitely going to be like, okay, if the foil crop rotations are $40, right, which might be laughably low, maybe I pick up 4 of them.
Yeah.
To maybe cycle in for like a change of pace. Right? But if they're $140, like, no thanks, I'm good.
Right.
If they're $25, yes please, I'll take 7.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that kind of goes for any of these. I think if any of these get to a point where like the market is saturated, like after the first weekend or during the first week or whatever, and the price on any of these goes below like $20, like you better be buying every one you can
for the foils.
Even the Urza's lands.
Yeah, I mean, for example, like I have the Kaladesh Invention Lotus Petals, and I think I got them for between $25 and $50.
Yeah.
And they're $100 or more a piece right now.
Right.
And that's because I got them when they first came out, and they were interesting, but they weren't like, as they were still kind of in print and whatnot, and now the prices are way more.
Yeah.
Like I have one Invocation Chalice of the Void that I think I gave Cameron like $100 for, and I think it's $200 now.
Yeah.
They do run the risk of, if every set has some cool full art, super sick art style, they do run the risk of like them not being special anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what happened to pack foils, right?
Yeah, pack foils are just like, cool, whatever. Yep. Yeah, but not that they're gonna like have like 4 different versions of super fancy cards, but like if it loses that like show offy thing, if just everyone has 16 full art things in their deck, and it stops being neat and it's just kind of like how things are, then that kind of changes. Like that's going to change how people feel about them.
I agree.
But I mean, I will probably own Karns at the end of this.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I'll just like get a Karn at some point, or get 4 Karns, and I'll just have like Tron
On the back burner.
Yeah, my collection is such that like name a modern deck,
Right.
and I can typically put it together.
Yeah.
Or be close enough that I won't cry if I have to buy the last 3 cards. But Tron is a hole in that collection.
Well, not for much longer.
Not for much longer. Again, like if a regular Karn is like $25, you should buy Karns.
Probably.
Because Karn has just always found a way to be $70 or $50,
even
whatever
after,
it is.
like 2 reprints now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it never really dipped below 70 or $80.
Right.
And especially now that Modern's not being played, like in paper, you might be able to actually pick these up real cheap.
Yeah, so like if Karns get cheap because there's a fancy new version and that looks like Clayface from Batman the Animated Series, and
Have you seen the memes with Julie Andrews?
No.
Somebody's like photoshopped like Sound of Music.
Okay.
Running through the field.
Oh, like the hills are alive.
Yeah.
Nice. I like the one that him on a snowboard.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I'll have to look for that one.
Jesse put it in the chat. It's just like him like going down one of the Urza's lands on like with his arms out on a surfboard. I was like, oh, he's the Silver Surfer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But like if the regular Karns get cheap, like this will be the time to get them because there could be another version and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that the set, they've done a good job. Now, some of the previews here recently, they have snuck a few rares in that make you go, huh, I really would not want to open that.
Like
ever.
Ravenous Trap?
Was Ravenous Trap one?
Yeah. It was
at rare?
As a rare today.
What?
Yep.
It was an uncommon.
It was.
Why would...
Was.
There's no reason to upshift that card other than, crap, we're 1 rare short.
Yep.
Well, let's just make Ravenous Trap a rare. Oh my god.
Make it a rare.
That's insulting. Come on now. So, yeah. So spoilers should be done by the time you're listening to this. I'm assuming.
I think so.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see kind of what they round out the set with.
What are your opinions of the rest of the set in general? Like box toppers aside, like pretend we're not talking about VIP boosters. We're just talking about the actual set.
I mean, I think the reprints are good.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I've really figured out that's in the limited environment is there's like has to be multiple artifact decks with like multiple themes.
Yeah, I think one of Wizard's articles said something about like much like Ultimate Masters was a graveyard set, this was an artifact set.
Okay. Yeah,
like Ultimate Masters was a Graveyard Matters like themed set that they ended up skinning as a Masters product. And this was an artifact themed set that they ended up skinning as a Masters product.
Gotcha. Because there's just so many artifacts in it.
Yeah. And so many great artifacts.
Yeah, I want them to print Magnetic Theft.
Yeah. I will take all of your equipments.
Well, you've seen that deck, right?
Yeah.
Hammer Time? You know this deck, right?
Well, I do, yeah.
Yeah. So for people that don't, you play a creature with double strike, or that gets double strike when it's equipped. Mm-hmm. You play Colossal Hammer, which costs 7 to equip, but gives your creature +10/+10 or something. Yep. And then Magnetic Theft lets you just equip an equipment at instant speed.
Yeah. For
1 red mana. And then you just 20 someone on turn 2.
Gotcha.
Good, clean magic. But the foils are like $15, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much money on a meme. Okay. They have the stupid red white rare that gets like it has like trample, double strike, and vigilance?
They sure do. It was
From
just in Ward Spark.
no, it wasn't War of the Spark. It's
Wasn't?
Guilds of Ravnica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's literally still in standard. Is one of the rares that you get in your double masters. Like I would like melt down if I spent $15 and got like that.
At least it's not your box topper.
Yeah. And I got that. I'd be like, no. Yeah. I just got rid of a bunch of these for a quarter. Why?
Voice of Resurgence got downshifted to rare, though. That's good.
After I bought my fourth one when it was a mythic.
Oops.
It's in the mail. Man. I just bought it because Pioneer Winota decks are using that in Ultra Evolution.
Oh, okay.
Because it leaves a body behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's pretty good. I like that. I should get my fourth one. And then they're like downshift to rare. And I'm like, no.
Did you see one of the unofficial leaks was the card that's supposed to be reprinted forever?
Oubliette.
Oh, yeah. Oubliette, yep.
So, if you are a Magic card leaker,
yeah,
can we just take a second and have a talk?
Yeah, I know where you're going with
this. Step 1. Move your damn thumb. Get your thumb out of the picture. You're leaking pictures of Magic cards, not of your thumb. 2. Your camera has like a 50 bajillion megapixel camera on it. Why do all of these look like they've been taken with a Hubble Space Telescope? These all look like they're on the surface of like Mars.
I think what the story was this was somebody's Twitch stream. Somebody ended up with some booster packs and opened them on a Twitch stream. And these were screen caps that people stole of the Twitch stream.
How did this person get packs?
I don't know.
People still do better. Do better. Because it's like, what is that? Like, you can figure it out, but like you go on Mythic Spoiler and it's just like, oh, here are some nice
some guy's thumb.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, there's some cool high-res images. And it's like, oh, these have all been chewed by a baby. Like, what am I looking at?
Some of them aren't even like whole images. There's like giant swaths of card missing.
Yeah, you just like can see the name or like the part of the rules text. And you're like, okay, we know what that is.
Yeah.
Cool. It looks good. I mean, I'm glad that they're reprinting Oubliette. Like, uncommon, though.
Yeah.
Which makes sense where they put that kind of removal in modern Magic.
It also has phasing now.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it uses phasing, yes.
What?
Yeah. It's reworded.
I didn't read the wording.
Yeah. When it enters the battlefield, target creature phases out until it leaves the battlefield. Tap that creature as it phases in this way.
Wow.
Yep.
Why would we do this, Wizards? Because black cards don't exile things?
Well, like the original didn't exile, though, did it?
I don't know the original wording for Oubliette.
Oh, I mean, exile didn't exist then, so.
Like, remove from the game.
But, like, I think it kept its equipment and stuff. Like
yes.
Or auras or whatever, which you can't do with exile.
There we go. So here we go. Common from Arabian Nights. All right, this is from TCG Player. This is probably closer to there. Select a creature in play when Oubliette is cast. That creature is considered out of play as long as Oubliette is in play. Hence, the creature cannot be the target of spells and cannot receive damage, use special powers, attack, or defend. All counters and enchantments on the creature remain, but are also out of play. If Oubliette is removed, the creature returns to play tapped.
Yep.
Okay, I guess it is kind of like phasing.
Yeah.
But also, when's the last time you've seen the word hence on a Magic card?
Henceforth. So the Oracle text does say exile. You exile it and all auras attached to it. Note the number and kind of counters that were on that creature. When Oubliette leaves the battlefield, return that exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control tapped with the noted number and kind of counters on it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it phases.
It phases now.
Man, they opened the floodgates. They gave Teferian phasing, and they're like, the people are ready.
Oubliette.
It's like, no, the people the people are not ready. Phasing. They could have just put it in the core set.
Oh, wait. Oh, Oubliette, you mean?
Yeah. Boom. In there.
I mean, they could have.
In there.
Yep.
So, yeah. The set looks good.
Yeah.
Again, it's a set I'm never going to draft.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame, but yeah.
I mean, one, because I'll die, apparently. And two, because it'll be like $50 to draft.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Or more, right?
Yeah.
It might be like $60 to draft. Like, no thanks.
$18 a pack plus price support. Yeah.
$18 a pack?
Yeah, aren't they the same as Ultimate Masters packs, not regular Masters packs?
I thought they were 15.
No. Maybe they're 15.
Never in a million years am I going to open a $15 or $18 pack. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, all right. Some arena time real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I got a tweet that this is kind of a listener question, which was they wanted to know if we wanted to start doing historic data.
Okay.
And I said we totally could because I've been playing historic, but
I've also been playing historic.
I don't know if there's an appetite for that from the greater podcast listenership. If there is, let me know.
Let us know.
And we can try to put together a sheet, and I guess I could use... I don't even know how you would do that. I guess the historic metagame will going to be set by this arena open.
Yeah.
So we could probably do something there to kind of get like a metagame to like do stuff. But if that's something you're interested in, let us know, and we can bring that to you.
Absolutely.
They said they had done the standard one for a while, and they're like, I'm playing a lot of historic now. And I'm like, we've kind of fallen off because like there's no...
Right.
There's no reason
anymore. To get hyper competitive.
Yeah. And this is less arena, but it was a thing on arena. So we mentioned I watched the PT finals this weekend, and the story of the tournament was reclamation decks, either straight teamer or 4-color.
Right.
And I think they were 56 or 54% of the day one metagame.
Yeah.
And the card Growth Spiral was in the first 3 decks of the first 3 major represented archetypes of the tournament, which accounted for 67% of the decks.
Wow.
It was Teamer Rec, 4-color Rec, and then Bant Ramp were the first 3 decks.
Magic as Mr. Garfield intended.
Team 4-color Reclamation had a 72% conversion rate to day 2.
Holy moly.
16 of the 22 people that showed up with the deck or something made it to day 2. So, a Teamer Rec, I think, was also, its metagame share went up day 1 to day 2. Just a little bit. I think it went up to 58 or something percent.
Yeah.
But there were only 4 Teamer Rec decks in the top 8. I say only.
Only half the field.
And then the top 16, 11 of the 16 decks were Teamer Rec or 4-color Rec. But
so what else did we have in the top 8 that wasn't Teamer Rec?
We had Mardu Winota, which is trash creatures and a Winota to put more trash creatures on the battlefield on turn 4. Blue-white control, and then mono-black aggro. And then the 8th place on tiebreakers was Jund Sacrifice. And so just to put into perspective, so Jund was 8th on tiebreakers. It was tied with Teamer Rec and Teamer Rec.
Oh.
We could have had 5 Teamer Recs if it wasn't for someone's 5th opponent in day 1. Right. And then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th were all Teamer Rec.
Man.
So... yeah, it was a lot of Teamer Rec. But decks that did well, right? That Winota deck, the mono black aggro deck that made top 8. I say did well, and now I'm looking for them on the sheet, and I can't find them. White Weenie, I guess the highest finishing White Weenie deck was 8 and 6. But
Yeah.
White Weenie was a deck that was specifically built to beat Teamer Rec. And I just wanted to take a second and use like this event to like definitively illustrate what a meta deck is.
Right.
Right. So I think if you look at the cards in the Winota deck or the mono white aggro deck, pretty much there are very few, if any, good cards in those decks. Right. You know, there's in the Winota deck, there's Winota, which is good. Tajik, which has been like wildly unplayable for its entire time in Standard.
Outside of Winota, yeah.
Outside of Winota. Judith had like 3 weeks in the sun.
Yeah.
Before Mayhem Devil. And then like General's Enforcer. And like just cards that are just like, yeah, you're laughing at it, right?
Yeah.
Deck looks awful.
Yeah.
Mono white is Selfless Saviors and Garrison Cats.
Oh, really?
And Hunted Witness. And Seasoned Hollow Blade, which is a good card. Glorious Anthem, which was a good card 10 years ago.
No, it was less than 10 years ago. I mean, always watching play.
It gave him Vigilance, too.
It did, but...
And then Venerated Loxodon, which has had its moments.
Yeah. It's at least a reasonable card.
It's at least a reasonable card. But these decks don't have a lot of super powerful cards in them.
Right.
But the reason they were successful, like Mono Black's a little different. Like Mono Black does have some powerful cards in it.
Yeah,
except
it's full
for
of heavy hitters.
Yeah, except for its 2-drop slot is just kind of bad.
Yeah.
But these decks all were reasonable choices for this tournament because there was so much Teamer Rec.
Yeah.
And what this did was the Teamer Rec decks stopped worrying about beating everyone else.
Yeah, because they could just do that.
Yes. And then started worrying about beating each other. So that led to the 4-color Reclamation decks that had Teferi, because Teferi makes it so other Teamer Rec decks can't beat you.
Right.
And had Dovin's Veto, so you could win the counter wars. Right? And a lot of these Teamer Rec decks cut all their removal. Right? Like, it was a big deal when someone had 2 Storm Wraths in their main deck.
Yeah.
As like their only removal. And so the decks went from being these like, you know, combo control decks, right? Where they're killing all your stuff and then like win with a combo to just being, you know, they were combo control decks, but they're now, instead of worrying about the board, they're worried about the stack.
Right.
Which then
Fighting a different battle.
Yes, which then let these decks that don't have powerful cards in them that played on the board get under them. So, like Mono White and this Mardu Winota list are decks that are metagame decks because these players looked at the Teamer Rec decks and said, no one's playing Stomp anymore. No one's playing Scorching Dragonfire. No one's playing Storm's Wrath. They have no way to kill a 2-drop. I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, and kill them on turn 5. I'm going to do that.
Yep.
And so, because the Teamer decks got so worried about each other, they gave up percentage points to these aggressive decks. Now, they got a lot of them back post-board, but I think Cedric was on the coverage, and he said, like, all these aggressive decks, mono green as well, are favored in game 1. And then they just have to cross their fingers and hope they can steal one of the sideboard games.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of these aggressive decks just started up 1-0 against Teamer Rec. So these were just decks that were hard targeting 50 or 60% of the field, but hoping that they didn't play the other 40%.
Well, and that's kind of like, was it Yukihira's list?
Yeah,
it was just Esper good stuff?
It was Esper stuff that Team Erect has a hard time playing against.
Yeah.
It had Teferis, it had Tithe Takers, it had some random counterspells. He like boarded into a bunch of counterspells post board. Had Rotting Regisaur to be a clock.
Right.
But it was just like, what are all the things that Team Erect doesn't want to play against? Thought Erasure.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to put all those things in my deck. Ken perhaps should have played Team Erect. He went 7-7.
Yeah.
So, but even though White Weenie was supposed to have a good matchup against Teamer, like I said, the highest finishing Team Erect deck was 8-6.
White Weenie
Not
deck, you mean?
White Weenie deck, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If we get down to at 9 wins, I think there were 6 non-teamer decks that got 9 wins or more.
Yeah.
Or 8 or something. Like, not very, very, but it had to be 8. There were 8.
Yeah.
So, these decks were just trying to hard target Teamer because Teamer ignored them.
Right.
And what's going to happen is maybe Mono White has an okay Teamer matchup, but if Teamer changes 3 cards, Mono White becomes, like, unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they are like, you know what, I'm going to cut a negate and put in the Storm's Wrath. Now I'm going to have 3 Storm's Wrath in my main deck. You probably can't play Mono White.
Probably not.
So this is like when you like make a metagame call. If you think that, hey, 70% of the field is going to be Oko, and I have the deck that beats Oko, then you show up with that deck and hope you play against Oko 70% of the time.
Right. And hope that equates to you doing well in the event.
You playing it 10 times and going 9-1.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so these decks that were not Teamer Erect decks, other than Junsack, because I think Junsack was just Junsack, they were all hard targeting Teamer in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them just by trying to be aggressive and go under.
Yeah.
And then apparently Yellow Hat, Gabe Nassif, gave Raphael Levy a blue-white control list. And he finished 5th with blue-white control, which I'm assuming is a deck that just is a pile of counterspells and little Teferis to beat up on Team Erect.
Yeah. Now, it's also kind of worth noting while we're talking about meta decks that while it did work for you at a GP, which is the opposite of what this was, typically this kind of stuff only works with like a smallish field, right?
It works better when you have a smaller field. Like, this happens a lot. Like, if you look at the World Championships, or this was 142 people, and, like, almost everyone is a name person.
Right.
That you know what kind of decks they play, and you also know, like, the hive mind of, hey, everyone knows that Teamer is the best deck, so everyone's either going to play it or try to beat it. And you make that decision. Where, like, at a GP, right, like, I played a deck that was good against Oko, and played specifically to be good against Oko, and then played 2 bad matchups, and, like, one deck that was good, but was, like, 2 months from being played a lot in either direction. Like, I lost to Jeskai Fires. Like, Fires was played a lot at the start of the format, went away, and then got played a lot, like...
After Oko
left. But I got paired against it and got a draw in the middle of Oko time.
Yeah.
So, like, in bigger tournaments, it's harder to make these calls because you don't understand everyone's motivations.
Right.
Right? Are they there to have fun? Are they there to play their pet deck? Or are they there because they think they're going to try to win, so they're going to play the deck that you're hard targeting?
Right.
But in 145, I guess it is, person field, you have a pretty good sense that they're all there to try to win it. So you
Right,
know.
and like you, they were all somebody that has already proven them also.
Yeah. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't see Croaky's name on here. Boom!
Oh, wow.
Boom! Boom!
Yeah, I was
Paper
just going to
boomers
ask you
everywhere.
what he played.
He apparently played a Teamer Mirror on his stream and cried. So so yeah, he did not get the invite apparently.
What a shame.
Yeah, it was rough.
Poor guy.
Rough. Greatest player of our generation.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. But yeah, so this was an example of people trying to metagame the field. The problem is if you miss the build of the deck that they're playing and they account for you, you get rolled.
Mm-hmm. If you have no good matchups.
Yeah. If your pairings are bad, you get rolled. You're like, oh man, I can beat Team Iraq every time I play it. And then like your first 4 rounds you play against your 4 worst, like the other deck in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh man, I can never beat Jun Sack. I just hope to dodge it.
Yeah.
And you play Sack 4 times and you're like, oh, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm out now. So just be mindful. But this is an example of trying to metagame a field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty good example and worth noting.
Yes. So I think with that, we have a podcast.
We do have a podcast. If you would like to get at us on Twitter, you can tweet at us at Casual Tripod. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Casual Tryhard MTG. Shoot us a message there. We'll reply as soon as we can. You can shoot us an email at show@casualtryhardmtg.com. I check the show email pretty much daily, so that's a pretty good way to get a hold of us. We also have our Discord channel, which is probably the best way to get a hold of us, I think. Plus, you get to talk with some other like-minded individuals as yourselves. We have a link in the description. There's also a pinned tweet on our Twitter page and a link on our Facebook to our Discord server. There's an invite there. If you can't get any of those ways, you can also get at us some other way, either through Facebook or Twitter or email or whatever, and we can send you a personal link. Don't forget that we also have a TCG Player affiliate link. If you're looking to pick up any singles or sealed product or whatever, if you follow the link tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com, anything you purchase after following that link will help us keep the lights on, as they say. If you would like to support us a little bit more directly, you can do that patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. Every dollar helps. We got that going on.
Yes.
We got some perks too. We do a pre-show, just kind of our ramblings before we record. We don't get to see each other in person or at F&M anymore, so we spend a couple minutes before we start recording kind of catching up like friends do. So you get special access to that. And plus, a lot of times we talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about in the show. So it's kind of a sneak peek about the show. And I also post our show notes there before the episode goes live, so you can kind of see where our heads are at before you listen to us ramble for however long this episode was. We got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
Yep, I think that about nails it.
So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you guys on the interwebs.